All right, guys. Yeah, I'm just leaving my buddy's house. We just dropped off the Honda, and you guys seen the review. And I think it's a pretty cool bike. And I'm just gonna try to compare old bikes to new bikes. But yeah, and everything seems to be working right. It's got 11,000 miles on it, so it should be good for a while. And knowing my buddy, he'll probably take it out once a month, and if he doesn't, I'll take it out. It's not going to be an everyday rider, obviously, like what I would do with this bike. So, and that brings up kind of something, because like I said, I always say this, I don't know what I'm going to talk about when I start these videos. And would I just take an old bike and be my everyday? I probably wouldn't like it to be my everyday. I am spoiled with the creature comforts of this bike and the sportiness of the bike and how fast the bike is and all that. And so I would much rather have a newer bike also to augment a older bike to have, like yin and yang, like I have the KZ. And I got a bunch of little things I want to do over the wintertime. And I'm thinking, maybe I need to get another bike. Instead of buying another new bike, keep this for a little bit more longer like I kept with the GS. Maybe keep it 2 or 3 years and just buy something old. Now maybe I'm looking in the early 2000s. I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I was thinking of maybe... because I like sport bikes, but I'm not into the clip-ons, and I just the clip-ons just don't. The ones that are below the triple trees, the ones that are above the triple trees are not bad. And I was looking at a bike that you guys probably very familiar with, and that's a CB 954, early 2000, I think a 2003, a Honda. It's a double R. I think they called it a Fireblade back then too. And that bike is pretty cool. The seating position, from what everybody told me, is really comfortable. It's sporty, but not crazy sporty. And you can get them decent prices. And, mint, really good condition guys are asking maybe a little bit high, but I've seen them for $3,000-$4,000. And, I'm into just doing a lot of work on bikes and screwing around with them. And, I'd love to try a sport bike, and I wouldn't be in for a lot of money. And then I could just sell it if I don't like it, And I just like the look of sport bikes. I just don't know if they're going to like me. If they're going to just beat me up. Anyway, so that's one thing I was looking at. I think they're kind of cool bikes. So, guys, let me know. I'm sure some of you guys that know about that bike, and you can give me comments on, is it worth it? They have a lot of trouble. From what I read, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good all-around bike, which doesn't have a lot of issues or any issues at all to speak of. So it's just something to think about. And then I have my eye on the new Honda Hornet 1000, the leader bike. They're going to have like 3 Hornets, a small one, a 500, I think, and then the 750, and then now 1000. And it kind of looks like a Street Fighter. I don't know what the horsepower is going to be. I think they said 147 plus. I don't know what that means plus. So, it'd be nice if it was in 160 horsepower range. It can't compete with the new Street Fighters because they're all 180 to 200 horsepower and more. But it kind of looks like the Ducati, but the price point is really nice, and I like naked bikes, and I don't know. I mean, I'm always looking at different stuff, and that's kind of caught my eye. I'm still thinking about the GS, but I'm just not sure that I really have to take one for a ride. I know I'm all over the place with bikes and everything like that, but I like variety. I mean, that's my thing. I really like variety. The leaves are all turning, so it's another nice day in November. Yeah, you can't beat North Carolina right now. It's just absolutely great for riding. Temperature's like 68 degrees right now. It's going to go up to like 70. It's just beautiful. In the sun, it feels like it's 75. So so now I'm gonna absolutely compare. Because I've just finished riding the Honda, given it to my buddy. He's so happy with it. And the bike has got a cool factor, no doubt, but it doesn't compete with modern bikes as far as creature comforts and sportiness and acceleration. I mean, this is only 130 horsepower. Well, it's 128, and but it's geared so tightly, it just accelerates so hard. It just doesn't have that little top end punch that I like. I mean, it's fast. Don't get me wrong. I always say it's fast. But comparing it to the older bikes like my KZ, I did figure it out, guys. I figured out the problem with it. It's running so good. It's like a different motorcycle. I put these things called air correction jets in. It's just running really good. But, you know, when you compare it to the Street Triple, there's no comparison. I mean, it's the same type of bike for the era, but the technology has gone so far. It's just come so far. And the Triple is just, like I said in a couple of videos, it spoiled me. It's such an easy bike to go fast. You got such confidence on it. When I'm on my buddy's Honda, you know, with the review, I wasn't going crazy, but you know, you really got to know what you're doing with the bike if you're going to push it. And same with and more so with the KZ. You know, the KZ, even though the Honda's bigger, it seemed like it leaned in easier. It just seemed sportier. I should have done it back to back, but whatever. But the Triple, any of these new bikes are just amazing. As far as these naked bikes go, and I'm just thinking of my Speedmaster. You know, the Speedmaster didn't handle all that great either. I would say that believe it or not, the Honda probably handled better than the Speedmaster, because the Speedmaster was just a cruiser. But my Scrambler handled good, even with that big front tire. It was that 21-inch front tire. It handled really, really good. But that's gone too. So. But modern bikes, you know, compared to old bikes, yeah, old bikes got a lot of character. You know, when you pull into it, I pulled into get a fuel stop, people just thumbs up. They just don't see something like that. So you get a lot of attention when you ride an old bike. But the satisfaction is just in the cruise. It's not in the performance or the handling or anything like that. Satisfaction comes when you get on this Triple. And I know there's, you know, the Triple, the 890 Duke. I mean, all these middleweight, I would say these are upper middleweight bikes, because the middleweight bikes, a lot of middleweight bikes are in the, 80 horsepower range. And, you know, this bike is, you know, pushing 130 horsepower. So I would call this an upper middleweight bike, you know, comparing it with the 890 Street Triple. Yeah, I guess you compare it to the Kawasaki 900, because that's a heavy bike, and you know, I think they would be more equal, even though I think this would be a better handling bike. Can't pass up the straightaways. Still waiting for a tune to come out for this thing. I wish they would come out with a tune. I seen a guy in the UK bring it someplace and they tuned it. I'm told over in the States they can't break the encryption, but obviously the guy's doing something. He doesn't, you know, so I'm just waiting. I want to go through Tune ECU, and I want to have DNK tune it, get the tune from them, so then I could just upload it myself, and then, you know, if I want to put it back to stock, I can do it all. I don't have to worry about bringing it someplace. So I'm just waiting. Hopefully I'll have the bike long enough to tune it. I mean, it doesn't need that much more power. I'd like to get a little bit more RPM out of it. That's what I want, a little bit more RPM. Another thing on the Triple, boy, I tell you, the brakes are phenomenal. Phenomenal. And it does sound good. Yeah, so I just figured I'd talk about the old and new. The Street Triple right now is still my favorite bike. I love my KZ. Well, it's my brother's, but it's me and my brother's. But I love riding that thing once in a while. But if I have to ride a bike every day, if I have to ride a bike all the time to give me all the satisfaction, all the gratification, everything I really want in a bike, and just something to enjoy every day, it's got to be this bike. It's got to be a new bike. You know, I'm just spoiled. You know, these new bikes, they just spoil you. I mean, a lot of guys have made some comments about the Honda. They remember what the Honda's like. Any of you guys have old and new bikes? I know, Jim, you have your Goldwing, which is an old bike, and then you have the DS. But anybody else, you know, have anything from the 70s and 80s or even 90s, and then you have your new bike, or you just can deal with one? Be curious to hear that. Anyway. All right, so that's it. I just not a crazy amount of talk today. I just felt like putting the camera on. I haven't rode the Triple, or I haven't made a video with the Triple in a while. Hopefully I'm going to go riding this weekend, because the weather's going to be in the upper 60s on Saturday. So that'd be kind of nice if we can meet up with my buddies. Yeah, and so I don't know if I'll have the camera on then or not, but I just basically I just wanted to talk about old and new, and the Triple still got it. The Triple still got it. It's still a favorite bike of mine, and I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. There's nothing out there that I want to replace it with in the price point. Just nothing. It's a great ride. It's a looker. I love the way it looks, the way it rides, handles, and you know, a lot of people love the way this bike rides and handles. I mean, it gets good reviews. I haven't heard any knocks on this bike. The only knock I've heard is everybody that I've seen, they agree the dashboard is just, whether it's the rev counter, tachometer, whatever you want to call it, is the worst. It's just, you know, I have the numbers going, but, you know, it'd be nice if they had like a nice analog animation of an analog tach sweeping. That would be really cool. So, but it is what it is. Otherwise, there's no complaints on this bike as far as people that I've seen. I mean, some people have nitpicked the little things, but I just think those are, I don't know. I don't even remember them. They were so minor. So anyway, I guess that's it for now, guys. I'll have a video out again soon, and later, guys.